Directions for your warm and cool trees. Remember your name and teacher code on the back. To begin drawing your tree, you will draw a line about the middle of your paper, and it's going to stop about 4 fingers from the top. Don't worry if it's a little bit wobbly. Trees are not perfectly straight. Then from that line that you stopped, you're going to kind of create a Y shape, a letter Y. Those lines will start at that point and then go all the way off the edge of your paper. You're going to keep repeating this until you have about 7 lines. Remember, your line should go upward, kind of making a Y shape or a backwards Y shape until you have about 7 lines. It's best to add branches where there's empty space. Before you begin with the paint marker, make sure that you have a placemat under your project. Then you will gently open the paint marker. It's a good idea to just test it on a little spot on your placemat to make sure it's working. And without pressing hard, you're going to gently retrace your pencil lines. It's important that you don't press hard or squeeze because you will end up with a puddle of ink on your paper. So take your time, be gentle, and retrace those lines. Then you'll use a Sharpie and you're going to find the lowest branch, and that's where you're going to start making these U shapes. These U shapes are going to be connected and they are going to kind of follow the angle of these lowest branches. Notice this one kind of goes up a little bit at an angle, and that is the bottom part of our leaves. Now we're going to put just some small hills. You're only going to draw 2 wavy lines and then another wavy line. Then it will be divided into 3 sections at the bottom, and if you choose, you can even add some extra lines kind of as rolling hills. You can also go back and add some teeny tiny little branch lines with your Sharpie. Remember, it's kind of a Y shape and they should always go upward towards the top of your paper. You will practice using warm and cool colors to add color to your picture. Warm colors are like reds, yellows, and oranges, and cool colors are purples, greens, and blues. You'll use the warm colors for your leaves, and you'll use your cool colors for your ground and your sky. Look at all the different sections that you are able to color in with your crayons. When you start adding color to your tree, you're going to look for the different sections, the different shapes that you have created. You'll make small movements back and forth while you're coloring, being really careful not to create scribble lines and nice, smooth coloring. For example, you should not be moving your hand quickly back and forth every which direction. You should be moving back and forth in slow motions to create nice, smooth, neat coloring. When you're adding coloring, it shouldn't be really, really light and it shouldn't be really, really dark. It kind of needs to be a little bit in between for later doing a crayon resist. So that's when we paint on top of crayon. You will be painting using liquid watercolors, warm and cool colors. You may have to look at the side of the container to see that you have the right color. We will be doing a crayon resist, so we're painting on top of our slightly light coloring, and it's a good idea not to paint with the same color as the same color crayon. So right now I'm painting yellow on top of red crayon, and the red crayon kind of peeks through because the wax in the crayon prevents the paint from soaking into those spaces. When you go to switch colors, rinse your brush very thoroughly and then use a sponge to blot off any extra color or water before you grab another color. It's incredibly important to rinse well. Here I am painting red on top of the yellow, and you can see how the yellow crayon is peeking through the red paint because that crayon with the wax in it is resisting the water, so that's why that happens. Remember, for best results, it's a good idea not to have the crayon color and paint color be matching. You should use different colors so that you can see the crayon and the paint color. You're going to use this process for your whole entire picture, painting colors that are different on top of your crayon coloring. Here is a close-up of the crayon resist painting, so you can see kind of the effect that happens of painting on top of crayon. At cleanup time, grab some cardboard and gently slide your artwork on there, and then take it to the drying rack.